Distinctive Forms of Male Aggression Throughout the World by Brennan and Sotia. The Functions of Aggression by Male Teenagers by Hilton and others discovered how frequent and to what extent violence is prevalent throughout high schools. The researchers sought out multiple schools in the same district and asked students to record any form of violence which they noticed. This research was done by 698 11th grade students in Simcoe County, Ontario. From the results concluded, the experiment showed male-to-male aggression was more common than male-to-female. Unpredictably, the research also shined light on a different stance of male aggression. Though there was less male-to-female physical aggression, there was more male-to-female verbal aggression. The research paper, Child Abuse and Neglect, created by Zhang and others, discovered if mistreatment of children directly correlated to any form of aggression. Zhang studied a variety of cases regarding abused Chinese adolescent boys. From compiling vast amounts of research, Zhang discovered that the younger the victim is, the higher chance that individual has of retaining internalized aggression. Internalized aggression was addressed in this article as suppressed aggression that can build up over a set period of time, and then they also talk about external aggression, which is the immediate release of harmful behavior such as outbreaks, yelling, screaming, hitting. So the results concluded that from both types of aggressions correlate to the possibility of maltreatment from that individual's youth. Predicting Sexual Aggressions in Male College Students in Brazil, created by Abreu and others, was to comprehend men's usage of aggression for sexual pleasures with unwilling participants. Abreu compiled data that suggests sexual aggressors have a dramatically higher chance to have experienced child abuse in the past. Abreu supported this theory from two other experiments done by White and Zurbriggen. Both researchers discovered that any form of childhood abuse prompts more aggressive behaviors throughout their lives. From Abreu's experiment, the data revealed that 23% of men were reported to be sexual aggressors on campus. The sexual aggressors were split into two categories: no formal childhood abuse and any type of childhood abuse. From the two categories, the vast majority of the 23% were placed into the any childhood abuse group. Another factor that played into the male sexual aggression was alcohol consumption. Nearly half of the sexual aggressors were under the influence of alcohol. The conclusion from the study was that male aggressors stem mainly from substance abuse and former childhood abuse. The following article, Modulation of Male Aggressiveness Through Different Communication Pathways, created by Pallaro and others, was to study animal communication and agonistic behaviors. This research article is essential to the overall theme of distinctive forms of male aggression because the data can reveal if male aggression is apparent throughout all species or just current society and cultural aspects. Pallaro's purpose for this research was to comprehend social and mating evolution. The experiment was conducted by using 119 adult Barachium crabs during peak of the reproductive season. Of the 119 crabs, 90 of them were male and 29 were female. Pallaro put 2 male crabs and 1 female crab in an enclosed tank for the 2 male crabs to fight. The results showcased that the male crabs were more physically aggressive when a female crab was present. Without a female crab, however, the male crabs would fight for less time and with a lack of overall aggression. This data benefits for the theme of aggression in that males are naturally more aggressive than females throughout most species. The following article, Addressing Male-Targeted University Sexual Aggression by Zolomu and others, was to study former types of campus sexual assaults to uncover a specific type of norm between the assaulters. Zolomu was able to study 353 heterosexual men from a large Midwestern university. Each participant was given a survey to ask questions based on former sexual aggressions and masculinity threats. From each answer, 3 groups were formed with specific tasks to complete. The results from the questions disclosed that alcohol-facilitated sexual assaults were alarmingly higher than initially suspected. In addition, the subjects had a universal theme that masculinity was how strong and sexually active that individual was. When the subject's masculinity, however, was attacked, they would become aggressive and physically upset. Zolomu's experiment was successful due to the eliciting aggressive responses via scenarios and verbal questions from his subjects. The following article, Veterans with Recent Substance Use and Aggression, PTSD Substance Use and Social Network Behaviors by Sexton and others, was to understand why veterans have a high violence output. Sexton was able to offer veterans $20 per interview inside a Midwestern hospital. The study involved using a survey that asked the veteran if they had used any form of substance, such as drugs and alcohol, any violent outbreaks in the prior year, and if they suffered from any PTSD symptoms. The results from Sexton's survey revealed that the physical aggression was more common towards non-partners than their partners. This means that they were more physically aggressive towards people who they were not in a relationship with. The data revealed that there were 63% of physical injuries of non-partners in comparison to 32% of physical injuries of the partner. The comprehensive data reports that alcohol consumption must be lowered to reduce aggression in veterans. Social network groups were another factor in the veterans' aggression when reviewing the data. There are high tensions and aggression between veterans and certain political and cultural viewpoints within a social group. These veterans were classified with a high violence rate of 50% to 70% when attempting to receive treatment in comparison to the overall population trying to receive treatment. Each article listed above can correlate to former lessons learned in this course. The most notable connection, however, would be in chapters 15 and 16. In chapter 16, a topic of social norms were introduced as social behaviors. In the article addressing male-targeted university sexual aggressions, an average social norm was compared to that of an aggressor's social norm. This allowed Zolomu to differentiate that between a non-aggressor and aggressor. Later in chapter 16, the topic of externalization and internalizing problems were presented. This subject directly ties into the article Child Abuse and Neglect by Zhang. The textbook and research article both display that the two types of aggressors are impacted by that individual's adolescent stages of life. This claim can also be supported from chapter 15 of the textbook, Impacts of Child Abuse. The topic explains that any form of child abuse can negatively affect an individual's stress level and stress response. In a broader spectrum, humans' aggressiveness was showcased through many chapters, from chapters 2, 3, 6, 8, 14, 15, and 16, but never fully revealed if gendered or cultural aspects played a role in aggression. However, data from the textbook alone reveals that aggression is prevalent throughout current society, and many factors can impact aggression, such as drug and alcohol consumption. The similarities between each of the research articles were surprisingly similar. Two of the articles addressing male-targeted university sexual aggressions and predicting sexual aggressions in male college students in Brazil studied sexual aggressions in a specific university. In contrast, the functions of aggression by male teenagers studied multiple high schools in a set district. Another similarity was that all the articles except modulation of male aggressiveness through different communication pathways heavily used surveys to compile initial data. A relationship between veterans and recent substance use and aggression and addressing male-targeted universities and sexual aggressions introduced an outside factor that affects aggressiveness: alcohol. Although there are many similarities between each article, differences between each study are evident. Each research article studied a different reason and form of aggression, from aggression rates between males to females, childhood abuse, aggressive sexual acts with unwilling participants, aggressive social behaviors in different species, unawareness of aggressive actions, and the majority of veterans with higher rates of aggressiveness than the common public. Overall, the implications from the similarities are crucial for society to understand and identify forms of male aggression. A form that can be derived from the research is male aggressiveness under substance abuse. Studies reveal that nearly half of the aggressions are stemmed from the use of alcohol. Another form of male aggression which should be noted is childhood abuse. Most of the childhood abuse victims show higher rates of aggressive behaviors throughout their lifetimes, which is due to the individual's lack of stress response. The implications from the differences between articles show distinctive reasonings as to why aggression is apparent. PTSD is another factor that many veterans face and unfortunately correlated to their aggression levels. Another factor of aggression is seen through reproductive season in crabs. Males become more aggressive to attract the female, and this data can be directly correlated into our current society. Aside from that, factors of external and internal aggressiveness along with sexual aggressions reveal that there are different types of aggressive behaviors under certain circumstances. In conclusion, male aggression is prevalent throughout most societies due to many altering factors, and although the aggression can be expressed through different actions or words, specific steps towards bettering oneself might mitigate the general aggression level in an overall community.